Yung SWK, ito yung Pugad. This is occupied by Vietnam. Yung Gaben North is occupied by Vietnam. Yung Gaben South is occupied by China. At yung Mac Kinan, magkakadikit ito, China as well as the Johnson Reef. Ang problema, Mr. Chair, nitong dalawang ito, yung sabi nung arbitral award, nung dinimanda natin ng China, I think this is in 2012, hindi natin pwedeng i-appropriate, sabi ng tribunal, yung mga islands dito. So nagkaroon tayo ng dispute between the tribunal's decision and the Presidential 1596. And we made an adjustment there doon sa bagong batas na ginawa natin, although meron pang problema kasi yung Quarteron Reef, dito yung Calderon natin, is still outside our exclusive economic zone. Pero kine-claim natin yun. Ang problema, yung Amboy na Cay. Sana yung Amboy na Cay, this is occupied by Malaysia, but this is within our EEZ. I am trying to picture this to you, General, kasi in employing, for example, the shift of the mindset from internal security to the external one, we need to be assured of the maritime rights or even the territory that we need to protect. Ang sabi nga natin, well, the most patriotic of us, sabi nila, West Philippine Sea, atin ito. Diba? Ganun talaga eh, no? West Philippine Sea, umalis ka dyan, sabi sa China. But if we are unable to really locate the precise coordinates until we are able to pinpoint natin talaga kung nasaan ba talaga yung saganang atin, merong nasa sakop ng ating exclusive economic zone. So based on the new law, ito dapat. Kaya lang, yung presidential decree is another. Outside ng economic zone, pero kine-claim pa natin. So if we make a statement na yung atin lang, pero merong outliers, ito ba ay alam mismo ng ating mga kasundaluhan kung nasaan lahat itong mga features na ito, anong exact coordinates, kung ilang ibon ang nakakalipad doon. Kasi in the aftermath of a war, sabi mo nga, God forbid. Pero kunwari, talagang ganun nangyari. If you send your children, your grandchildren to the war and let them fight for and die for these features, we need to know exactly where is this West Philippine Sea. Hindi ba tama, General? So kabisado nyo ba lahat ito talaga? Did you coordinate, for example, with the Coast Guard? O kaya the office responsible in locating by precise coordinates para hindi tayo magkamali? Do you follow, General? So what's your comment?
First of all, like what I mentioned in my earlier answer on the education of our officers, sir, rest assured that your comment on the determining the exact location of these features will be factored in our curriculum of our officer, and not just officer, even for training of our enlisted members. But let me also mention, sir, that in the NTF-WPS, one of the members is the DepEd, sir. And one of the drive is to introduce the West Philippine Sea into the curriculum of our students. And hopefully, sir, if we start early as elementary education, making everyone aware what rightfully belongs to the Philippines, I'm more than certain, sir, that when the day comes that they will also serve in the armed forces, they will really be very much willing to defend each square inch of our territory, sir.
Mr. Chair, that's a good starting point. The only problem is, yung libro na yun, nakita ko na yun eh. But it does not really answer where the West Philippine Sea is. So, sinasabi lang natin, meron tayong ganitong karagatan. It does not even distinguish between maritime rights and sovereign rights or territory. Kasi po, General, even if we talk about our territorial sea, our continental shelf, our economic zones, exclusive economic zones, these are not considered territory. Yun dapat ang maintindihan ng ating mga kasundaluhan kasi hindi siya considered under public international law as territory, but sinasabi natin, atin ito. We cannot appropriate what is not ours as a territory. Maritime rights, okay lang yon sapagkat nananagot tayo sa yung UNCLOS na, yung UNCLOS kasi dinidistinguish niya what are the things that we can do do sa ating mga maritime rights in relation to the other coastal states. So, kailangan pong madistingue ito in our effort to protect our own. We need to make sure that our people know exactly and certainly ano-ano pa itong mga features na to. Baka mamaya, General, mga ibon lang pala yung nandun at saka mga ilang mga makikipagpatayan tayo, hindi pala yun ang dapat na mangyari sa atin, no? Kailangan nating malinawan ito, Mr. General. General, ito yung gusto kong itanong sa iyo. Under Article 2, Section 3 of the 1987 Constitution, kabisado mo naman ito eh. Civilian authority is at all times supreme over the military. The Armed Forces of the Philippines is the protector of the people and the state. In times of war, wala tayong pag-uusapan, General. You need to protect our people. Yun talagang katungkulan ninyo. Yun ang mandato ninyo. At hindi ka makakaiwas talaga ron. Kung hindi giyera, halimbawa, like it's peacetime, how do you make use of this constitutional provision?
May I answer, sir? Yes, sir. Sir, first of all, we recognize what we call as the duly constituted authority, sir. And the duly constituted authority is the one that has the mandate of the people. And in our case, the one who has the mandate of the people, who is duly elected, is the President of the Republic of the Philippines, who is also the Commander-in-Chief. And thus, we recognize him as our leader, our commander, a civilian, but who leads the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So we recognize duly constituted authority, sir, and we will defend everything that is aligned with our duties, and we will defend the chain of command. Thank you, sir.
But, Mr. Chair, I did not ask him about duly constituted authorities. I know that the Armed Forces is duty-bound to respect and obey the duly constituted authorities of this country. But that was not my question. My question, Mr. Chair, is how do you operationalize this very important constitutional provision in times of peace? Kasi pag giyera, hindi tayo magdidebate rito. Katungkulan mo talagang pagbabarilin lahat yung mga kalaban natin para maproteksyonan mo kami lahat, di ba? Pero kung halimbawa wala naman tayong kalaban, yun ang gusto ko lamang kasi ayaw kung magkaroon tayo ng misconception eh. Kasi ang daming gumagamit ng ganitong phrase eh. We have a president in recent memory. Nangyari sa panahon ni former President Erap Estrada. You saw how the armed forces withdrew its support to the presidency. At ang sinasabi nila noon, this is the basis. This is the constitutional ground. Kasi we need to protect the people. Mr. Chair, I'm not saying that there is a parallel between what happened during the time of the former President Joseph Estrada and the political realities of the present. Kasi noon ginamit ito under those circumstances. Ngayon, kapag nakikita mo yung mga political activism ngayon, there are huge rallies. Siguro naman nakikita po ninyo. Tayo naman lahat, nakikita natin lahat. People gather huge rallies at sinasabi nila this is the way to petition and redress our grievances to our government. And these are protected rights under the Constitution. Kung minsan sinasabi nila, minsan nga, ay, di ba, nasasabi sila, oh, you are the protector of the people. You are not, di kayo kumikibo. Mga ganun, siyempre, how do you react to this? And what, for example, the hierarchy is conveying to you in relation to this mass protest or rallies that we see in our time?
Yes, Your Honor. First of all, with regards to the rally, sir, this is a concern of the Philippine National Police. And in regards to that, sir, we are only in support role. We are not supposed to take the lead. And that is where, a specific example, sir, that the police leadership, which is a civilian body, takes the lead. And that is their main task. It is not our main duty. We are just to support law enforcement, sir, if directed. Thank you, sir.
No, but the provision is very, very clear, Mr. General. The Armed Forces of the Philippines is the protector of the people. You do not delegate it only to the internal force like the police. Parang kasama kayo rito di ba? Kasi kaya ako tinatanong ito, Mr. Chair, para meron tayong malinaw na konsepto dito. Hindi yung basta na lang nagagamit ito, ikinapit dito, ikinapit doon. Wala tayong matibay na mapangahawakan na mga katibayan kung paano natin ma-operationalize ito. Kasi napaka-importante nito. Sayang naman ito. Kung halimbawa, pababayaan lang natin nandito, lalo na kung panahon ng wala namang giyera, kung hindi, nagkakaroon lang tayo ng giyera sa atin-atin lang, which is internal in ourselves, di ba? So, yun ang kailangan nating ma-process kasi ito, Mr. Chair. Gusto naming malaman sa inyo, ano ang pagkakaintindi ng armed forces dito sa phrase na ito? I'm sorry if I make you very uncomfortable, Mr. General, but I know you are a battle-scarred individual. Kayang-kaya mo sagutin ito.
Sir, first of all, sir, I, on behalf of the general officers who are here with me this morning, believe that we are all professionals. We are a professional organization. And as such, sir, we will only adhere, perform, and execute our mandate. Sir, with due respect, we are not supposed to be involved in politics or interpreting the Constitution. We will only comply what our directives are, and that is what we will do, sir. We will operationalize whatever directive we have for as long as it is in line with our duties. But we will never do anything, sir, to violate the chain of command and to destroy whatever was written in our Constitution. That will be all, sir. Thank you, sir.
That's a very, very safe answer, Mr. Chair. So, what happened during the time of General... sino na yun? Panahon ni President Era? Angie Reyes. So, ano yun? How do you characterize that? Did he use this or this provision, or he did not use this but he used another, let's say, legal basis?
Sir, with due respect, sir, I cannot provide a clear answer to that, sir.
You cannot provide a clear answer?
Yes, sir, because I did not know what was going on in the mind of General Reyes, sir, or who influenced him.
Okay.